Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's first law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts,
Archlector George,
and Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
And we continue our coverage of the Age of Madness trilogy with A Little Hatred, and we cover A Fool's Weapon and Hopes and Hatreds. So let's get started. As usual, folks, we got to thank you for your continued undying support. We love you. We love you. We love you. And we are always going to ask you to continue to send us comments, which you have been, which is great. Emails, to the Circle of the World podcast at gmail.com. Hit us up on our social media platforms. Tag us in Reddit, except George. He's ultra banned.
Ultra banned.
At this point, I think George's spirit is banned from Reddit. Even when he passes, the spirit cannot access the Reddit.com. He just can't.
Every time I connect my computer to somebody else's Wi-Fi, they get banned from Reddit. It's contagious.
He has the COVID of being perma-banned.
Anyway, so pray for Georgie.
Pray for Georgie. If he even thinks about going to Reddit, he gets shot. It's crazy. Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's a higher up at Reddit that can just help us fix this, solve this travesty, it's because George, he doesn't deserve it. Just because
I think I'm better off without it, to be honest. I think
probably.
It's fine.
Yeah, you shouldn't be arguing with folks on the internet. Come on, man. Who does that?
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's awful. You shouldn't do that. But yeah, so we want to continue to thank you because you continue to support us. So we love that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. For community interaction segment, you already know. Sign your ass up. If at this point, George, is there any need to sign up for the chapters?
At this point, I know you're just mentioning it because you feel obligated to.
Yes, because I need to at least highlight this. It's a segment, so we got to say it. We got to talk about it.
Yeah. It's one of those. It has dropped off. It wasn't. The turnout for A Little Hatred is nowhere near as good as it was for even Red Country, but the Heroes. But then I think A Little Hatred is probably one of the books that isn't anybody's favorite. You know what I mean? So I do understand that there aren't as many takers for the chapters this time.
Yeah.
That said, our meme of the week this week is a meming every chapter. So
hell yeah. All right. So with that, we shall go into our first chapter read through, folks, and this is A Fool's Weapon. Now, this is a chapter that's pretty much held throughout the perspective of our boy Clover, aka Steve Field. And he is basically, they walk into, again, a traveling hut, whatever, with the rest of the Northmen. Calder, he's with Calder, and Calder is pissed, very upset, very, very upset that his son, the heir, which is funny that a nephew is the heir, but his son had agreed to fight in the circle, a duel to the death.
It is pretty stupid. But
you.
I like how this is teed up though. He's griping about it. He's the bloody fool. He's all mad, and Clover's like, yeah, whatever. He's a fucking idiot. But he said, "I love my wife, Clover." He growled, "Loved her more than my own life." And he's like, "Well, isn't that a good thing?" He's like, "It's my great weakness." I loved her. I loved her, and she died, and all that was left of her was our son.
Oh.
So he goes, "So I indulged him, and I spoiled him, and on many occasions when I should have given the bloody fool the beating he deserved, I saw her face in his face, and I couldn't do it."
Might be a bit late to say it now.
He goes, "We'll fucking see." But I think, man, that really is sad.
That tells a lot in a short amount of, not a lot of dialogue, and with some comedic, you could tell Clover's ooh,
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No. Well,
yeah.
I don't think he
can't say what he wants to say.
Yeah.
But he obviously clearly agrees with Calder. They should have beat the shit out of him. But Clover probably is just and he's probably been there, done that. Maybe not in the sense of having a kid and what have you, but Clover's a smart guy.
Yeah, that's true.
I would see that he can see like, oh, well, yeah, but I mean, that's now. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Walks into the doors of the hall, and King Scale is there, and so's Stour Shitefall, and his homies, his cronies, a- and and Calder tells everyone, get out except for Scale and Stour, and he is pissed. He's admonishing Stour for agreeing to do the duel, the circle, right?
Mhm.
And King Scale is not supportive whatsoever. He is all on Stour Shifall's side. It's just, if you're Calder, if you can empathize with Calder, you got to be so frustrated reading this shit.
Yeah, I feel so. This is he's like, of course, Scale's going to support him. He adores he obviously loves Stour, and obviously has encouraged all of his bad interests. Anytime Calder got annoyed but didn't actually give him punishment, he just go to Scale for emotional support because he didn't receive it from his father. So like
Mm.
at least that's the vibe I get. Like he always has gone to Scale, and Scale's always like, "Yeah, go kill people." Yeah, I tell you what. Whenever I was young and fought in wars, you're gonna be like that one. He gave him he talked to him and told him everything he wanted to hear. So.
Mhm. I think
But
Calder and Scale are like the two worst dads in the Union. I mean, not in the first law. I mean, sorry.
yes, and then
You think? Yeah, I mean, we could say a lot. Calder is a complex character. One of Joe's
Mhm.
best, but in terms of his efforts at being a father, if it's funny how we're saying he's a terrible dad because he didn't beat the shit out of his son, which is funny. But he just wasn't. He didn't discipline him at all. Sounds like.
yeah. He anytime even for small stuff, right? It seemed fine early on, as it always does. But like you just give in to whatever your kid wants, he's gonna turn out to be a little shit.
Mhm.
And but his Calder's main thing is like, he's still doing this though. He's our future. He's gonna die if he goes and fights in the circle. What if he does die? And Scale and Stour are like, no, we'll be fine. He's the the young lion's a little bitch. I'm the cool one. And but I like that whenever Scale is like, hey, uh, listen to me. I'm the king. The thing you've forgotten is I'm the king, and we're done with strategy. You think that we can win this war? Stour has a solution that he is going to win the circle, as the Northmen have always done, and then we'll be done with this conflict. We can go back to doing what we're supposed to do. You said that we were going to beat them in spring, and then you said that we'd beat them before summer was over, and now we're in fall, and you're saying that we can beat them in the winter. He was like, no, we're done doing that. He's going to face him, and I'm in charge. And Stour's like, yeah, don't worry, father, I can finish him. And he's like, the bloody nine never back down, nor black down, nor wearing a bly, and nor will I. And Calder goes, and I think this is a great line, you've made a list of dead fools.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I do want to point out something a little bit earlier in the chapter, where because this is Clover's internal dialogue, but it's when Calder's yelling at him. He's like, "It's how they fight, and when that's the issue, you'd put all our gains at risk, all our work." And then Clover thinks, meaning all of Calder's work, since Scale had done nothing but drink at the back and Stour nothing but strut at the front, which is so funny. But because it's all Calder. He
yeah.
and Scale and Stour, both of them, they're just like, SNS, the SS, they're just fucking everything up.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would have appreciated the SS joke a little bit more.
What is? I was just waiting for you to finish.
I will fuck off. And Harrison, to your point, that's getting it edited out. Harrison, to your point, where he just said you made a list of dead fools, and then Calder's like, tell him, Clover, for the love of God, tell him. and this is a good like nice little thing that Joe does where he kind of like reestablishes timeline where he goes Clover had been telling Stour for near half a year, so it's already been 6 months if we're doing like the regular planet Earth 12 months, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So this has been 6 months, which if you like, I don't know about you, but reading this, you kind of like, it's like, oh, it can't have been that long, but it is.
Yeah, well, you have to remember too that whenever we saw Clover join them, it had been a bit of time already. They had already started the campaign, if you recall. They were burning villages and stuff, and he was like lackadaisically laying around.
Yeah.
But he does say no specifically that he's been telling
Stour,
to
yeah.
call it off. So
yeah.
he has been there, and we saw him when he wasn't there, and then he got there. So
Right,
it's been 6
right.
months
That's
since
what
the
I was
beginning of the book.
Yeah.
And I like how they keep like at least twice Stranger Come Knocking is referenced, but like Calder, no one's saying that. Yeah, you beat him because he was old as fuck.
He
Right?
was. I mean, he was like late middle age when the Heroes was happening. That was like 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's probably like a 60-year-old man.
And I do like the fact that Calder starts to admonish Scale, and he's like, you're he goes to call him fat, and Cale's like, yes, I'm fat as a hog, and 20 years past my best, and I dare say quite a figure of fun for most. And I like the fact that he is self-aware in a way. Like we
He
all see
is.
Scale as sort of like he's so used to being king at this point. He's so used to everyone doing what he says and taking his word as gospel that it's interesting that he actually does have that sort of self-awareness.
Yeah, he like acknowledges too. He says, "You're wise, brother. You're cunning, just like our father. What I have, I owe to your wits and your ruthlessness and your loyalty. I know that there are many things you understand far better than me, but you're no fighter." And that's when he admonishes him. And then he goes after he speaks back. He says, "But I am our father's eldest son. I wear his chain. I am king. I name Starry Nightfall not only as my heir, but as my champion. He'll stand for me in the circle and fight for Uthrith and all the land between the Cusk and the White Flow. That's the end of it." And then Stour, of course, is like, "You should leave that discussion of weapons to us, father." My Uncle Scale is the biggest, baddest boy there is. Literally.
But I love the fact as well when Calder storms out and then Stour is just sort of like, oh, he says he's gonna beat like a fucking sheep, and Stour and Scale just slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking dare! I can talk bad to my brother, you can't.
Yeah.
I love that part. Yeah.
That is
excellent.
So, yeah. And then I do love like the whole like interaction between Clover and Scale and Shyfall, where he talks about he never tries to draw the sword because he thinks it's a fool's weapon. And even Scale, the king, is like, "But you make your living teaching other folk to use a sword." And he goes, "They pay me to learn," but he always starts by telling them never to fight with one. If a man you mean to kill sees you coming, then you're going about it all wrong. That specific a man you mean to kill, it kind of harkens back to like what Logan used to say. Once you mean to kill somebody, once you mean to just do it, but you gotta be intelligent about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
just like Clover with Mag
yeah,
a couple of
yeah,
chapters ago.
yeah. And then obviously, Stour is like, "There's no hiding in the circle. The circle, the other man's always ready." And then Clover, talks about how that's why you stay further from the circle than he would from the sword. All that stuff: money, land, fame, friends. You can lose them, but keep your life. And with time and hard labor, you can always win them back. But there's no beating the great leveler. No man comes back from the mud. And Stour is like, "Ugh, fucking coward's words." And then Clover says, "A live coward can find his courage another day. A dead hero." And he just gets a little quiet, lets it hang in the air. And he goes, "But either way, I guess you'll have it your way, great wolf." And then he just walks away, which honestly, that's like spicy. To the king and to the hare. Ooh. And
Yeah,
that's usually in the chapter. So yeah.
Yeah, Clover is like he's already given up on. He's like, "I'm just here. Like, I'm not gonna give an idiot to do anything."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think Clovis tried very hard at the beginning, but I think he knew it was futile anyway, didn't he?
Yeah,
He saw how
I think
Star
so.
was, and he looked at Wonderful looked back, and was just like, I'm not going to help here.
Yeah. So, what do you rate it?
Well, Jeff, I think I would rate it. I really like this chapter a lot. I think the dialogue's really, really good. It's exchange. This chapter and the next chapter, everyone's just being pretty real with each other and not. It's very like good relationship dialogue. I think I'm gonna give it I think I'm gonna give it a 6 and a knuckle. I think it's just a really solid dialogue.
Mhm.
I really like how Scale, like that slap at the end, like yes, yes, I agree. My brother is, my brother's a weakling or whatever. He's like, but you owe everything to him. You shut the fuck up. You respect your father. I respect him, but he's wrong this time. Like, honestly, very, very mature. He's not somebody you think would be mature, but he kind of is. I mean, he's. I really like Scale in this section. So.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And of course that line in the beginning where we basically get the reason why Stour is a cunt because Calder was too soft on him.
Yeah, the good old fashioned spoilt brat. What rating do you want to give it then, Harrison?
He gave
I
it a
said it.
6.
Yeah, 6 and a
Oh,
knuckle.
was it a 6? I think I'm just going to go one lower. I think a 5. It's fairly short, and it's kind of retreading a little bit of old ground with the way that Clovis talks about, fighting and things like that. So, but the like you say, the revelations about Stour's childhood are pretty much on point. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually
reckon
with
a 5.
yeah, I'm with George. Give it a 5 out of 9 fingers. Short chapter. Thinking about it, there is some retreading, like George just said. However, the kind of like that brief insight from Calder about like Star Wars childhood and how he was raised with a silver spoon, and then obviously this dynamic that Calder's the one doing all the planning, all the work, and then obviously Scale does say that thing where he goes, you said a year ago it would be them in for 6 months and yada yada yada, and it's like okay, so it's showing that Calder is not. He's not infallible, but I don't think we
Mhm.
ever were supposed to think that. He's a smart
I
guy,
don't
but
know,
people.
man. A lot of people here at the end of this trilogy get really upset the fact that Calder isn't
Oh wait,
infallible.
wait. No. I have a lot of problems with the end of this trilogy with Calder, and I do. But
We'll address it when the time comes. But I think this is the
Calder,
point that Calder is very cunning, but he's not Bethod. Let's just say that. He's not
okay,
Bethod.
he's very cunning, but people, you're even better. You're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to make mistakes, and you have to like reassess. You're allowed to do that. That's okay.
I
Mm.
agree. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I'm
I'm
just
just saying.
saying.
I'm saying.
You know what I'm
I'm,
saying?
I'm saying the end of this trilogy was anyway. So I'll give it a 5 out of 9 fingers. Alrighty, so we'll move on to our next segment, which is our best meme of the week. Georgie boy, that's you. Take it away.
So, surprise, surprise, it's the Bloody Niner again this week.
Is it? Oh
The
man.
goat.
The go. Let's
He's
see.
returned.
Memeing every chapter, two of a kind. Now,
Yes. So yeah,
oh
obviously
man.
this is the chapter after the duel when Stour and Leo sort of make up a bit, and he goes to the tent, right? And then they're making up, and it's like, yeah, now Keith,
Now, Keith,
the Mike Tyson meme, which is fantastic.
that is
They
funny.
do act pretty gay in that scene.
Yeah.
Leo's like, wow, he's kind of handsome and up close,
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so that was the bloody dime with that, and that's great.
I appreciate it.
And
Thank you, Bloody
thanks
Niner.
for filling in half of the moving every chapter so far. So
He really is the goat.
He is. He's very consistent. We love it. All right. And so with that, we'll resume our chapter read through and we go back to hopes and hatreds. And this is one of those chapters that has different multiple point of views. And we start off with I think Leo's. Yeah, it's Leo's. And it's him, Durand, Gloward, Whitewater Gin. They're like around the fire, and Geronda's like, "Oh my god, they packed him in a box, Barnava, to be sent back to his family." It's like, I
With
guess.
salt.
Ah!
I don't know why it's funny. It is like objectively like sad. I think it's because you're in Leo's perspective, and Leo's like, I didn't want to think about this. Like they're all talking about how sad they are, and Leo's just like, yeah, me thinking about him makes me sad.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. He is such a child.
But there is a part where he talks about, Barnava, where he's like, he needs to focus, but it is a shame about Barnava. That he was a brave man, a good friend, always there when you needed him. His voice starts to break. If he hadn't put his shield across me, perhaps he'd still be alive. There is like you guys talk about it all the time. Leo is one of Joe's best character work. One of his,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
he's very good at putting these people into danger and then losing them and then going, "Oh, how sad that is." Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, same every time. I think
And
that
then
he, I think that Leo's issue as well here is like, he's sitting there he's all stressed out, and like, part of this is relatable. Them being like, he is like a very young man. What is he supposed to do? Oh, yeah, I can't be sad. I'd be not manly because that's probably how his father was, and but he also like does this thing which he will continue to do really badly, which is he lashes out at his friends whenever they're also sad. It's like he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be the weary one now." He's such a cunt.
Yeah, he is such a bastard.
But I like Antaup here. He's like, what about a spear? He's like, it's got reach, got finesse, and then Whitewater's like, finesse. The circle is no place for finesse. And Glowworm's like, nah, you need a battle axe. and they're like, really? You think having a huge thing you can swing twice before he's all worn out is a good thing? He goes, they have small axes too. And Antop's like, what about a sword? And he's like, thrust, slash, lunge, pommel strike. And Glowworm goes, always with the bloody pommel strike. I fucking love that shit so much. That implies that like every single time they all hang out together, Antop is like, pommel strike.
Yeah.
Oh, each time they train, he's always trying to go for a pommel strike. I love that. There's so much character given to this guy's hanging out.
It's another example of Joe's great writing where he never tells, he always shows. So showing their like chemistry as friends just through that like interaction, it's just brilliant.
And then they're like, well, what about your mom?
Maybe we're not on great terms.
And they all looked at each other, and then they're like, and Jurin's like, well, maybe you should listen to her, and he's like, really? Now? Well, she's the best technician I know. So and I hate this. He's like, so you don't think I can do it? We're like, what the fuck? They say, go to your mother for advice. He goes, so you don't think I can do it? And Jurin's like, no one believes you. No one believes in you more than me. I mean, more than us. But in single combat, it's a gamble. Anything could happen. We don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah. And I like how he goes, no one believes in you more than me. I mean, us. Us.
I like to think there's this little pause in their conversation. And then there's a quiet. And then Amtop goes, you any good with a whip?
He talks about this like a Gurkish performer, doing all the whip tricks. Like she whipped a girl's dress half off, and that kind of good too. And he's just like, ooh, what a memory.
Yeah, but he's like, so you think I should whip Sour Nightfall's clothes off? He's like, no, but he couldn't use a weapon. And then Ricker walks up, and Leo's like, wow, like it's so good to see her. He's still selfish as always. She always made him feel good, long hair or not. She always saw past the nonsense somehow, right to the heart of things. She helped him see to the heart of things. The dead knew he needed some clarity then. And then Gloward goes, we're talking of weapons, woman. And Rika, just like the same tone as Isern, I heard, man.
Excellent.
And Rika, obviously, the reason Rika's there is to kind of just talk to Leo, and that she needs him to kill Stour. That she tells him to fight dirty, fight hard, and that the lion beats the wolf. And then during like this whole thing, Leo kind of just like blurts out, he's like, I bloody love you. Oh wait, not love. And then it's true, like again in his internal dialogue, he goes, "Why had he said that? Swept off by whatever emotion blew his way, like his mother always said he was." And honestly, that is Leo this entire fucking trilogy.
Yeah.
I like how he has that like moment of self-reflection as well. It's like, what do you do when a woman is your lover and your friend? It's never happened to him before.
He's like, I guess I love her. I guess I don't know. I get, Joe's so good at writing characters. You can see how Rika in her mind, you know what Rika's thinking right now, right? She's thinking, oh my god, I can't believe he just fucking said that. But you know what? That's not the point. I need to encourage him. Otherwise, he's gonna have a fucking meltdown in the middle of the circle, wondering if I love him or not too. Fuck. Okay, no. You know what? Yeah, focus on Stour.
Yeah. I mean, she wants, because she basically says like, promise me one thing that you will kill him, which is obviously gonna be a little, a surprise. And then there's a bit of a break, and then we switch over to Clover's chapter, Clover's POV. And that's where it's a spot of where the circle is. You have people that cut the grass. Then people already built like stands and shit.
Yeah, just kind of just honestly very similarly to it's very much framed in the same way when we first see the summer contest in Adua. When we very first see that, it's kind of like the same vibes. They're cutting the grass. They already got these stands built. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah, let's say so.
Yeah, and
it's like this. It's like this hybrid sense of like a competition, while also it being like in the circle. Because presumably, typically in the northern fashion, it would just be like, we're gonna fight in the circle, and then they don't build stands. They would just fucking watch. I don't know. I don't feel like they would build stands.
No, yeah. I mean, even when they did the Fenris the Feared fight and the Bloody Nine, it was just like just some grass and then some dudes with shields, and that was it.
It's because of unions there. You think that like the Union men and the Northmen, they're like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh, we're building stands so we can watch the competition. And they're like,
but I think that's always how it. I think there is some kind of thing, like a tradition in the North, especially where like when Bethod would Logan's fighting for me in the circle, Bethod's not holding a shield. You have to think about this, right? It's a shield, and then you're surrounded by people. So if you're trying to watch it, you can't see it through that. You have to have like an elevated like seat. So I feel like maybe that's just been a regular tradition. They because maybe, the circle, the point of the circle is you end the war or end the battle without extra bloodshed. So I would assume,
and everyone has to see it as well.
Yeah, everyone has to see it. So I would assume the leadership of both sides would have to like sit near each other. And look, this is the thing that Clover says. He goes, look, he says, for all, that there were the older veterans, the ones that's supposed to hold the shields. He goes, for all they stood on different sides, some of Scales and the Dogman's named men were chatting like old friends. So I think it's like during the time of like the circle, it's just customary because you know them and you just, we'll just hang out. I just
wonder why we haven't seen it before, but then again, we haven't seen that many fights in the circle. So I think you're right. I think
Exactly. So that's what I think it is. And then
we've officially only seen the one, haven't we?
Officially, I think you're right. All the way through.
And that was. And that Bethel was in Carleon, right? Was it Carleon or was it it was Carleon? And,
yeah, it was Carleon.
And so Bethod's on the walls, and Wes was
holding
a shield.
They just didn't need to make them.
Yeah, exactly. He was already on the walls, and Wes was holding a shield. Do you know what I mean? So he was the leadership for that. And I do like how there's Red Hat. He talks about Red Hat and Oxel, Flatstone, Broad, Silent, Lemon, the Chalk, Gregun, Hollowhead, and the Nail. Interesting.
Lemon the chalk. I didn't catch that one the first time. Jesus, that's such a stupid name.
The young lemon.
Yeah. Lemon. And then I like how Clover's, he's by himself and stuff, and then out of nowhere he hears Jonas Steepfield. And he looks and it's Shivers. Oh, shivers me timbers. Ah. Sorry. I don't know why I did.
Shiver me timbers. For fuck's sake, Jeff.
I know. I'm a psycho. What can I say? And so it's he says he doesn't go by Steve Field anymore. What's up, Call Shivers? How you doing? He goes, he learned that a big name makes men want to take a knife to you just so they could take a piece of your name, basically. And Shivers is just kind of like, yeah, people are idiots. And then he goes, yeah, just Clover now. And then Shivers goes, oh, there was Clover in the circle where you fought. So at some point during, I guess, Shivers must have seen it. He was there at that fight. And then Shivers goes, we should talk sometime. One scarred warhorse to another. And she goes, no, I'm a crow picking at the leftovers. And then Shivers goes, not that I don't like the act. It's a good one. Don't doubt you got a lot of eager fools taking you for quite the figure of fun. And he leans in and he goes, but we both know what you are. and then Clover says it to himself, internal dialogue. He goes, he had heard it said that Call Shivers could see your thoughts with that metal eye. Horse shit, of course, but he's seen plenty with the other few men more. Might be the hardest name in the North, still casting his shadow. He didn't need a magic eye to make some sharp guesses. And then Clover God does, he's like, yeah, well, I gotta play the cards that I'm dealt, and Shivers, and they just chat. They chat. He asks him about Stour. He goes, you know what? I wouldn't want to fight him. And then Shivers asks Clover, what's he like as a man? And he goes, about what you expect from someone that they call the Great Wolf. Certainly no better. And he goes, what about Brock? And he goes, about what you expect from someone they call the Young Lemon. Certainly no worse.
That was well done, Jeffrey. Sliding that on in there.
Yeah. And then he's like, I wonder why we follow those bastards. And then he goes, well, then people start filing in, Scale, Black Calder, and everything. So then I think he sees the dog man, right? The dog man comes in. And he goes, and then who else? I think we have Finry, right? But you know what?
I think Finry comes in with Ricka, yeah.
I do like what Clover says here, though, when he sees the dog man, right? And obviously he goes, oh, he's a bit past his prime. Clover goes, he's got a lot of respect for the dog man as it goes. The only man won any kind of power in the North in my lifetime and stayed halfway decent. The rest, Bethod, the Bloody Nine, Black Dow, Black Calder. He goes, between you and me, this has been quite the who's the biggest cunt contest.
A real arseholes parade.
You said that well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So and then the Shivers talks about Ricka and that he should, Clover should take some time to talk to her, and he sees who he assumes to be Ricka in the stands, climbing up the steps, and he goes, this bitch, that's the one who I saw in the fucking woods. That's her. Because remember, he let her we knew him, but
I think he suspected, but he really wasn't sure.
Yeah. Where he goes, we met in passing. And he goes, I let her live and I let her escape. Ooh boy.
Basically they end their conversation with him saying, hey, I'm all ears, like we should have that conversation at some point. But Rick, and we jump to Ricka, and Ricka is just being extremely spiteful. She's like, I want to fucking watch him die. I want to. Oh, she sees Stour Nightfall, and she's like, whoa, what a little fucking cunt.
She says back to about him what he said about her, which is fair enough. But you are right that she is being spiteful about it, and she is letting her emotions get the best of her.
Yeah, he sees her, Stour Nightfall sees her, and he's like, "Oh, Eureka then." And by the way, this is like, I don't know, the 5th mention that Rika is a attractive woman by like every character has said it. Leo has said it. All his friends have said it. Fucking Stour says it here. Even Clover said she was pretty fine looking. Like, my God, we get it, Joe. He goes, "You're prettier than I thought you'd be," and she's like, "You're about as ugly as I was expecting." And he says, I hear you can see what's coming. Did you see yourself sucking my cock yet?" And Rick is like, "Just you losing in the circle." And he grinned wider. He goes, "I know you're lying about that one. Might be lying about the other too." And he winked and started walking away. And she stands up and she's like, well, she maybe doesn't stand up. I see her. Oh, she does say, jumping to her feet. "Don't worry about it. Once Leo's broke you in half, you can suck your own."
Which is hilarious.
Which is great. And then she's all like, she's probably shaking. That's the vibe I get. And Dogman's like, "Easy." He's like, "You need to hard words are for fools and cowards. Stour might be both, but you're neither." And she goes, "Winking wanker. I'll see him fucked by a pig. The bastard, I'll see him strung up with his brambles and the bloody cross cutting in him. I'll send his guts to his daddy in a box with herbs so they won't smell him until they open it." And then poor Dogman, he's like, "My baby girl's fucked." He looking at her like, "Rika, no." And then she feels, she feels a little bit bad, but she's like, "Man, it doesn't matter." She's just really hateful here, and I don't really blame her. Stour is a cunt.
Yes, he is. He's pretty repulsive.
And then as everyone's getting ready, Isern walks up and she's like, "I'm Isern Fail. My da Crummicky Fail, just the fight between the Finish and the Bloody Nine. He's a well-known bastard." Everyone's like, "Aha, yes, what a bastard he was." But he was well known, being a hillman, the closest thing to a neutral party anyone could find. "And I'm as well known as he." And she lifts her chin up. "But by my piercing wits and haunting beauty, it seems it's fallen to me as a hillwoman to judge this bout. Though I have to declare up front that I hate this cunt over here and might be prepared upon to kill him myself." Which is great.
I like how Stour's like, yeah, I have to admire your honesty. I couldn't give a moth's cock for what you admire. What the fuck?
And Stour's like, don't you worry, I'll be killing him, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, "Whoa there, we have a way of doing things." And she kind of goes through her whole thing where she's like, "This is, Leo Danbrock, Lord Governor of England, and who people call the Young Lion, who has, on account of his youth and heroic opinion of himself, if he's as skillful as he is pretty, he'll have quite a fight." And then over here is Stour Nightfall. And by the way, whenever she first says it, she says, "Over here," she looks at the sky, she looks at Leo, she looks at Stour, "on my left."
You're making sure that she's got it right.
Yeah. Over here on her right, she's got Stour, they call a great wolf, who, because of he has the hairiest ass in the north, for all I know. He beat stranger come knocking the circle, but we're all aware the man was way past his best.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing shade every second she gets.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Rick is like, "Bastard, bastard, bastard." She's trying to get her, like, she's trying to turn on her long eye, and it's not working. And then everyone, she basically is like, if Stour wins, then the North gets everything up to the White Flow, and if not, then the Protectorate stays in place.
Yep.
And everyone cool with that, and everyone's like, yes, we're cool with that.
Like, yeah, we're cool. Yes. And Fenrir's just like, "Oh my God, I can't watch."
And then Rick is like, "Don't worry, he'll win. You'll win. Don't worry." And Isern is like, "Give me your shield, handsome," to Shivers. Takes the shield, spins it around.
Apparently, Shivers turns around. He's like, "Me? Me?"
Yeah. And this is so stupid. Hey, sorry, straps down. It's your pick, Great Wolf. And then he's like, he can pick. And she goes, okay, your pick, your line. Leo shakes his head. He can pick.
I was like, ugh. Esther doesn't even like let this get out of hand. She goes, all right, that's it. Never can commit. She goes, you're gonna fight with what you brought. That's it. That's it. Fucking
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Let's get to it.
Stop
They're
being a
both
little
like,
bitch.
they're both like, I'm the bigger man. He can pick. I don't need to pick the whip. Oh, I'm so man.
Yeah.
I love too, in this chapter, the vibe of it being compared to like, um, you know, Finish the Feared and Logan. It kind of reminds me of whenever, and I love the line, with the bias says, we're just, we're smaller men playing smaller games or whatever, and a lesser time. And
Yeah.
that reminds me of this so much. And I think he does it on purpose, It's
Yeah.
like these are all lesser versions of them.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we remember, Komiki failed, Fenris the Fear, Bloody Nine, when that felt like an epic,
Monumental.
monumental kind of showdown. And here, everyone's just kind of like, oh my god, can we just get on with this?
No one
Because
cares.
it's true. It is true though, and you're absolutely right, Howard, that it's like an intentional echo. Because I always thought that, I'm not going to talk about it too much now, but I always thought about that as I was reading it the first time, that the duel seems very, I don't know. It's not that exciting to me. It's just like, yeah, they're fighting now, and now they're not. Now they are, and that is kind of it. But it is sort of intentional, isn't it? That's sort of how it's what it's meant to evoke.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the vibe. I also think that like the whole feeling that these two characters are essentially the same sides, or two sides of the same coin. Maybe they are the same sides of the same coin.
Maybe.
I mean, they are essentially. I mean, Leo is fighting on behalf of Dogman, like Logan was fighting on behalf of Dogman, and Stour is fighting on behalf of, Bethod's progeny.
Yes.
So it is essentially the same fight again.
Yes.
Except that, the two people that are fighting never actually did anything or earned their names or anything like that.
Yeah. The Young Lemon. So, what would you rate this chapter, boys?
I think I'm going to give this one higher. I'm going to give this one a 6 again.
Yeah.
I like it. Isern's speech is brilliant. I think it's just the longest single piece of dialogue we've got from her, and it just shows how little of a shit she gives about this.
But she's great at this though.
Yeah, she is a hype woman forever.
She is great at this. I enjoy it. So you giving it a 6? You said?
Yeah,
I'll give it a 7. I like it. I like it's nice build up. We love them. At least I love the multiple POVs. I will say, Rika's hatred for Stour is very intense. But why does she hate him so much? I mean, besides him just looking for her and trying to have her kidnapped as for the dog, it's because she heard him say the being fucked by pigs thing, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the majority.
Yeah.
She's just absolutely
she's very angry. She's very very angry.
Well, I mean, I think
something about her. I'm just saying. I wanted to finish. I just want to say something about it feels a bit. I don't want to say contrived, but I don't know. I don't know.
I do get what you mean.
You do.
It does seem like she might be angry, but I do feel like this is in a similar way to when she's missing at the beginning of this book. It's like the first time she's ever had to deal with any sort of being deprived of something or something like that. And also, Stour is her first enemy, the first person that she really hates.
Yes, and I guess all right. So here's what I was trying to get to, right? This because I feel like this trilogy is Joe's tightest trilogy in terms of in terms of technically great, but I feel like there are times where it's almost like he needs to have this happen, so he kind of forces a mechanism. And so to explain Rika's decision making in this book and this series, that he just has to turn up the hatred, and it feels forced. However, I'm saying it feels forced. It felt forced, but George did explain it. But
also they burned down her home as well, so that's another thing.
Yeah. So it does make yeah. I
Yeah,
just I don't
she's
know. I just don't know. Go ahead.
yeah. I understand what you mean too, and I kind of felt that at first as well. But I think as it's kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like she is by far one of the best moral characters in this series, right? Well, she's
No,
also
not
We'll
okay.
after
come to
this.
that later.
Yeah.
We'll come to that later. But she's a 19-year-old girl who's
Mm,
grown up with a
mhm,
lot of love and affection, and
mhm,
now this guy comes through,
mhm.
burns her home down.
Yep.
It's somebody. It's not just this ambiguous thing.
Right.
She has now also has this. He's also talking about raping her, like
Right.
in
Yes.
horrible
Yes.
ways,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
and
Okay.
she has now she's a young person going through a tumultuous time, and she has something most people don't have, somebody to hate for it, and she's young enough not to know the difference,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
it's
So
acceptable for
that
her to
that
be
that makes
like,
see
yeah,
that makes more sense. And I guess with like just the amount of like we're halfway through the book, right? Just let's
yeah,
just say maybe a bit more than halfway. And I guess because that was so early on in the book that kind of felt there was like such a time there's so much
yeah,
time between reading that I'm kind of like why does she is so angry again? But it makes sense. But okay. Yeah. That
yeah,
makes sense.
I hear you.
But I appreciate that. Thank you guys. So I'll give
Yeah,
it a 7 though. I enjoyed it. Harrison, what do you give it?
I give it a 7 as well. I just like that. I like how there's
High
all
five.
these conversations and they're all just really raw. There's one thing I don't like about this new trilogy, and I really do like this obviously a lot more than Jeffrey does. But the thing I don't like about it is that sometimes there's this major issue that I feel, and that's where characters start blabbering on, and I like sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's or like Isern is exempt from this because that's her character. She says meaningful things in the meantime, but other characters don't do that. A lot of times they just blabber on. They have a lot of quips, and I think this show just getting carried away. And lots of times it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he doesn't do that here at all. It's
Oh, good.
all
Oh,
down to
okay.
earth.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
okay.
all down to earth in this inside this chapter and the last one. I give it a 7 because I just think the dialogue's really really good and there's
Good.
no wasted space. I feel like.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Good. Like that. So we'll move on to our final segment, which is our character spot. Boys, who are we highlighting?
It's already fail.
We were bragging on her. I mean,
Yeah.
she's the hill woman, isn't she? Go ahead, George. You got more to say. I
No,
think.
you're exactly right. She's the hill woman. She's the little girl in Last Argument of the Kings that's like kicking people in the shins and telling them to fuck off, and that's funny. And is extremely traumatized even at that very young age.
Yes.
And yeah, she's here now, and she's already obviously we've seen a lot of her at the moment when she's guiding Ricker through and back home again. But it's interesting that is the hill people seem to be sort of like the spiritual people in the north, if you know what I mean. They're the
Yeah.
ones that have all the traditions and things. So it's interesting that she isn't doing this just because she's Crummock and Fail's daughter. She's doing it because the hill people know all the ways,
Yeah. They know all the ways.
And
Yep.
I like that. I like that about her son.
Yeah. And that whole thing, like she has this rapport with Shivers, and it's like, yo, that age gap is crazy.
Yeah, there's going to be a good 20 years between them, isn't there?
At the very least, 20 years. Very least.
Actually, no, I
Because
don't think there is.
he's an adult. He's an
Oh no,
adult,
wait,
maybe young
wait. No,
20s
he
during
might
that battle
and she's like
in the
10.
Battle of the High Places.
And she's like
She's
10.
like, so he's actually remember, he's not early 20s yet. I mean, at most he's
No, he
20
is.
because the
Mm.
reason I say that is because remember we know that there was maybe 5 years between whenever they last saw him. They're like, man, he was just a little kid then. He was a boy. So he went through puberty since the crew saw him last. So
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't be that much older, but
No,
he is
no, but
at least 10 years
10,
older.
10.
At least,
I think it's
yeah,
10. I think it's 10.
he's at least 10 years. Yeah,
'Cause I forgot he was like you were saying, early 20s. Let's say 20. Let's just say that.
yeah,
If he's 20 at the Battle of the High Places, we know Isern's like 10 or 9. So right there,
right.
Or
boom.
less.
Yeah, but like right there, like you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
the age difference isn't that crazy, but then 28 years past. Well, okay, all right. And so what else do you? I like the callback to the famous duel, Fenris the Fear, Bloody Nine, but then how Crummock Fail was, the judge of that. And it's funny when you say the judge because there's no real judge in the circle. It's kind of like I make my introductions and I get the fuck out the way.
Yes.
But it's very true. Where Krummick was such a madman that even though he might have been fighting against you, he would absolutely be I'm a neutral arbitrator in this fight. Yeah,
He would call you out for cheating, even if you're on his side.
The moon said you cheated. We saw this. We saw the moon saw.
I saw with my long eye. I mean,
I saw with my long cock. The long eye of my long cock. All right, sorry. I'm sorry. If you really look at the hole on a cock, it kind of looks like the moon, right?
Krummick, whose cock are you looking at?
The moon's eye of the cock. Gosh. Krummick's cock. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's all right, brother.
I don't know how much of that I'm going to leave in. Maybe all of it. I don't know. We'll see.
You never know.
Never know.
Do you have any thoughts about this, Harrison?
I mean, I like her character a lot. She grows on me each time. At first, when I first read the series, I thought she was kind of annoying because I thought she was kind of a blabbermouth when it came to things. But as I'm reading it again, she's probably the best written blabber type character I've ever read, ever. Other than maybe Princess Donut and Dungeon Carl Carl. And I really enjoy her character when she says things too. And I think too, I was being impatient when I first read it. Like I was wanting things to happen, so whenever she would speak, I'd be like, "What the fuck is she going on about?" But really, she has a lot of insightful things to say, and she's usually just roasting people. So I think she's a really good time.
A lot of roasting.
And she has a lot of complexity with Rika. There's a lot of like motherhood that she doesn't want to admit. She really does. You can just tell she loves Rika. And how they rub off on each other in certain ways. I think there's a lot of dynamics with that, but we'll talk a lot more about that as we go on.
Yeah. So the good thing is, we don't have to say we hardly knew ye because ye are still around.
Yay, for now.
For now. Well, that's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support means oh so much.
Join us next week as we cover Where Names Are Made and The Poor Pay the Price.
And make sure you follow us on all of our social media or send us an email at circleoftheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast from. And please make sure to rate and review us. Thank you all again for listening.
You say start, I'll handle the rest.